One of the best things to do with paper, metal dies, and photos, don't forget photos, is a tag album. And that's what we're going to dive into today. So you see a very bland collection of papers here on my workspace. That's okay. This is called potential. We have papers here that are sharing with us the opportunity for potential. I'm not even sure if that's an accurate phrase, but hang with me and this will actually come to a really great conclusion. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to craft to me, what's a really easy mini album out of tags, because the mantra of the day is anything can be a tag. So we're making tags out of a bunch of things today. What I did here with all my whiteness is I just grabbed some scrap paper because I just wanted to get an idea of what dies I wanted to use, what order they were going to go in, did I like it, blah, blah, blah. Now, caveat is for all things that I ever share here on the channel, sky's the limit. Just because I'm sharing a couple ideas here, throw in, if this is something that you think you want to make, throw in your own addition to these ideas here. So to start is with my most favorite ever in the world. I have them here. These nested tag dies. Nested is going to be another key word today. So word of the day is nested. These are probably one of the first die sets I got from ScrapbookCom way back in the day, and I love them. And so here's one of those. This for me is going to be what I'm going to call the base. So this is the very back. Sometimes with this part of the tag mini album, I will adhere it to a bit of chipboard just to kind of give it a bit more structure. I don't know if I'm going to do that today, and I'll show you why in a minute. So then the next piece that I'm going to add onto here is this very large, you guessed it, nested stitch ticket, because tickets are cool. And so this has this very large ticket in it, and it has this stitching that's part of it. And I think that's really cool. And so I thought that would be a fun, remember, because what's the mantra? Anything can be a tag. This can be a tag too, even though it's a very large size kind of a ticket here. I'm looking at the dimensions. I need to make some space to find that. So this is about 2.5 inches wide, and then it's almost 5 inches tall. It's a great ticket size. Am I right? I'm right. Okay, the next thing we're going to add to this would be, let's see, I'm trying to decide, because I have a piece of vellum here, and so I think the vellum will be our next layer. See, this is the part, this is the plain part. Just kind of get an idea. It's fun, but you can go about this a couple ways, because you can go about paper all kinds of ways. So don't even limit yourself to a couple ways. You could cut all your papers out in all your different sizes and then, stack and sort. Or you can kind of play with some concepts first and then say, oh, I know what I want what to be. So I have a piece of acetate here and I'm sorry, I have a piece of vellum and then a piece of acetate here. Then I have this. See, I'm not sure where I want this yet. Do I want it there? Actually, I think I do. I have this as yep, you guessed it, nested, stitched flat oval. And these are new to the workspace. Super fun, because again, they've got that stitch thing. So the stitch is just adding all kinds of lovely texture. And when this gets cut out of it, let's talk. Words are our friends. When this gets cut out of a bit more heavier cardstock, it's going to lay nice and flat. It's going to be a great piece to either just add some embellishments to or tuck a photo in. You'll see what I mean. So then I think at this point, I do want to add the piece of vellum. And then I want to add the acetate. Yes, you do hear a tad little cold in my voice. It's just, I've gone all winter and fall, and then here comes almost spring, and I'm dealing with a bit of a cold. Then we have a nested stamp Polaroid is what this one's called. And you can see my other ones are in here. There's 4 that come with this, and this is the largest size. And so I love this for a tag album. There's some extra pieces here. That's kind of it, I think, for my tags. But, again, it's going to kind of be figured out better as we get closer to the making of it. Then there is this Grow with the Flow. And I'm going to attach this to my Polaroid. And then, because this is a certain person's birthday, this Are these nested also? Oh, what do you know? Can you even believe it? Yes, they're nested round balloons. So cool. Okay, let's get to the heart of the matter. Okay, I've started off a little bit already here with some pre-cut things. So today I am going to be using 49 Market's Toddler Time because this is a mini album that is about some favorite toddlers in my life. But if you have paid attention to some of my most recent makes, I have been using the paper collection even outside of toddler kid type themed work. As a matter of fact, I have I have an unboxing of the collection pack for Toddler Time. So check that out to see some other pieces that go with this. It's very kid centric, but the papers are not necessarily. Although, okay, I told you before about with the base of a tag album, I most often like to add a piece of chipboard just to give it a bit more support. The thing is, the way I cut this is from the 6x8 Toddler Time paper. It has this little toys and children and thank you, and it's a boy and a girl, and it was just cute. So I kept it, and this is going to be my back. I'm not going to add any chipboard to it this time because I like the fact that the back is also very adorable. Okay, so then from out of the 6x8 paper from Toddler Time, I also cut this paper. Has a bit of a pattern to it. I think that looks lovely together. And at this point, I need to now go in and see what pieces I'm going to cut because I haven't cut anymore, so we can cut together. And so today we're mostly going to just be constructing the pieces of the album. I'll probably share an embellishment or so with you. This is another 6x8, and I think what I want to do here is use this paper because of the text part of it, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And what I did here is you've seen me do this before with other nested dies, and not always, because this would not be conducive for what I'm going to say here, but very, very often, nested dies just make themselves readily available to make frames. So we're going to do that with this next. All right, so now we have a great a great frame, and you could even reinforce this more by cutting another one and gluing them together, and you still have this fun, kind of an ephemera piece, right? Super cute. So don't throw away your extra pieces. They shall come in handy for you yet again at some other time. So I love that about the middles of these frame pieces. Okay, so what do we have next? So at this point, we're just going to kind of lay this all up together again. And I think that's really fun with that bit of text showing through. And so my vellum here is going to be, I have a measurement for you. It is 3.5 by 5. And then my acetate, let's see, what'd she do with that? Oh, you know what'd be really cool too? Okay, this is really small, but this would be a really cool piece to your tag also. So just imagine that you actually did this intentionally. And so you had your, I don't know, 3x5 piece of paper, and then you cut out a middle right in the middle. Great frame. Okay, write that down. Okay, so my acetate is just slightly smaller than my vellum. And so now I need to cut out the background of the Grow with the Flow and then the top piece, the outline piece. Actually, wait a minute. I have failed to cut my Polaroid piece. And so here's what I'm going to do with my Polaroid piece. So in case you're wondering what I'm going to be doing with my Polaroid piece, I'm going to use this part of the 6x8 paper. And then I'm going to use the other side and cut out my balloon because it's going to fit in the middle. So I'm going to do that now. All right, as we all know, because I think we've probably at least once or twice in our life have made a tag album of some sort. But as you all know, there is a couple ways, of course, that you can connect your pieces together. One of them that I have employed quite often, I'm trying to look right here on my desk. This is actually a very tiny one. This was actually inspired from a SBC Fest, and I'm not even sure which year, but it's the one that Paige Evans had done. And so I have a little small book ring here, and so that's a great way to use. Do I have pictures in here even? This was such a fun book to make. I thought I had a couple pictures in here, even though it was super tiny. I guess not, but what a fun way just to get bits and pieces together. But we're totally chasing a squirrel here because this has nothing to do with what we're doing right here. But that was a book ring. I was going to do something a little different this time. And I'm going to just start this back piece with a wider piece of ribbon. And then I'm going to, see, this is one of those things where it could go like this. Do we want it to go like that still? Maybe we will. We're just gonna kind of, you know, there's so many ways to go about this. I'm not gonna try and, well, this is the perfect way to do this. Let's make sure we do it this way. Let's just try it going high like this. And I'm gonna use a piece of twine and bring it through our bow up here, our ribbon up here, and add it that way. We're going to see how this works, okay? So what was our next one? I think this would be a good time to add this because this can kind of hang loose as well. And I think that's super fun, okay? Especially if we do get a photo on here, it's going to give it some weight and be a bit more secure to the whole project here. I'm just kind of eyeballing where I need this hole to go. Now with the vellum and the acetate, probably what I should have on here is some tag or hole punch reinforcements, because that could very possibly be a problem for just tearing through. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use this as my template to now pop this hole out. Okay. And there we go. The acetate likes to be a little stubborn. So let me see what I got for a hole reinforcer. All right. So what I did here is you could use, of course, a hole reinforcer punch that there's, we are Memory Keepers has a designated punch for that. What I'm doing here is I punched rather a 1/2 inch piece of paper from the patterns of paper that were left over from creating these other dies. And I'm going to use them, and then I'll go back and cut my hole, pop my hole again out of the middle once these have dry. But they're a little bit larger, just a little bit more dramatic. And it's kind of ideal then to kind of take a look at the back and make sure. Actually, it's probably better to make the hole after you add the piece of paper to it. But, you know, sometimes I get backwards about these things, and it's okay. It's okay. So I'm going to let those dry. I'm not going to do anything about that quite yet. And I'll come back and I'll go ahead and add them to my twine. And then the top piece for this particular album, tag album, is going to be the Polaroid. So I'm going to tie these all relatively loose because I want them, we're all weird right here. What are we doing? Try that again. Relatively loose because I want it to be able to move on the tag. Well, what am I saying? Relatively loose because I want it to be able to move on the twine and be able to flip these individual pieces back so that the viewer can easily look at each piece. So at this point, let's just trim up our excess twine. I always cut way too much twine. It's just hazard of the trade. Okay, now for this guy, let's see. We're going to add, since we have our glue out here, we're going to add glue to some key parts of the back of the outline of the Grow with the Flow. I just thought this was a really cute saying. Any kind of saying is going to work, any kind of title, even if it's just a single word, anything is going to work here. So just grab what you have, any of your nested dies, and you can just use your nested dies over and over again. You could take your nested dies and make several frames, or you could use the nested dies as they are And that could be a really fun idea too. I might want to go and make another one and use some of those ideas and just, utilize the different sizes that you already have and build from there. I really do love just kind of seeing what I can come up with. And so I literally grabbed from my current stash things I've used quite a bit. A couple things here I haven't used quite yet. Okay, I think that's good. I think I like the fact that it's outlined like that. And so I need to now figure out, we're going to go ahead and do this front. I have a couple things going on here at the front. I had a ticket here. Did I hide it? Oh, I wonder where it went. There it is. It got collected underneath all the things. I want to be able to have this connected to the Polaroid part. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in place, and in such a way, obviously, that you can't really see on either side where the foam adhesive is. So that's kind of the trick here, is hiding that as you go. Plus you're getting this elevation of this piece being, whoops, I got something in there. Elevated. You got a lot of texture going on here because you have the layers of the two pieces of the die. Oh, I like that. And then we have it popped up again because, let's put this here, because of the foam squares. So you got just great texture going on here. And I thought that was great. I liked how this green plays with that. So this is one of the laser pieces from the collection. Okay, we're going to need to do the same thing here. So I'm kind of eyeballing where my foam piece is going to go here. And I am probably going to need to do, I'm trying to decide. Yeah, I'm going to do another one right there because it's sagging. Can't have my balloon sagging, people. So we got to gently make this happen by just popping that there. Yeah, that's a good place for that. Okay, good, 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 good. I like that. The balloon also has these squiggly lines, so I need to get a squiggly line in there as well. Okay, and I also think something needs to hang from here. Okay, so far we have our front. It's totally opened up. So if you wanted to have, oops, see, we need to make sure this is loose enough. I'm not happy with how loose that is, so let's just open it up a bit and create space to move our tags. So this can flip over, and however you want to embellish this. Yeah, this is opening up nicely. I also backed up my little reinforcer pieces there. So from one side to the other, you can see that it looks relatively nice. Then we have this little sweet frame. We have our ticket. I think my ticket could have been a bigger hole, so make note of that. And then our back piece. Okay, let's embellish something here. Hang on. Okay, so I popped a photo on the acetate, so I went right from the Polaroid. You've got this whole kind of peekaboo, which is a great element for any kind of making. You got this kind of peekaboo thing going on here, and so it kind of invites the viewer in, right, to see what there is to see next. And so the next thing I want to do here is just add some embellishing ideas behind and in front of this photo here. And so because it's acetate, I thought it would be fun. This is the washi tape from Toddler Time. It's so cool. I love me washi of any sort. Ooh, it's super sticky too. So it might have been better for me to put it on here before I put the photo in. But again, I employed my trick of I don't have the back of my photo just covered with adhesive. It's just in the middle. So I can come in here, tuck this underneath, and have some more sticking out. And it's got a great ethereal feel because of the acetate. Then there's these frames that are all over in the laser cuts. And again, to the point of it doesn't have to be toddler to employ these different pieces. And I love that about this collection. Even I'm looking at these laser cut pieces here, Filled with Wonder. You are loved. The little things, you can do it. Those are some great generic phrases to use for different occasions, okay? I love this dream here. I love the layers of the two frames. So I'm going to put this to the top here, and it's still hanging over all these layers here. And that's something I love to employ, is just everything kind of lays over everything else. I have The World Is Yours. So that's why the dream is fun. But I also had this idea here and wondering, is it too much to now add this up here? I don't think so. I think I really like it. I might need to trim this up a little bit. Okay, here we go. We're going to finish this page up here for a minute. I went in and retied that small tag. I was kind of him and hawing how to go about it. And then I'm like, just attach it. Just take the minute to reattach it. And I'm glad I did that. And so this is just one way to tie tag albums together. I think I do prefer having messed with this for a little bit and having added to the rest of the pages the embellishments that they needed. I think I decided I do prefer to use a book ring. The thing about this is that I think I'm going to be adding it to an album. So I want it to be able to adhere to the back and then just be able to flip through it. But anyway, what's happening here is, so I have that notched ephemera piece, and then I trim down the sentiment strip, and it's going to be also layered with some dimension using the 1/8 inch adhesive foam strips, which I love to use and have at the ready for my adhesive tools. And so that's kind of how this came together. And it's just one of the pages. Be sure and check out my blog to see how the rest of the pieces in this tag album came together. And be sure to check out Paige's SBC Fest, her mini nested tag album as well. And I appreciate you watching today.